on. Welcome into the channel. So happy to be here with you always. My name is Deborah, owner of Purusha Holistic Wellness, and this is another episode of Purusha Intuitive, where we're going to look at the energy around our health, our well-being, via the tarot, astrology, any channeled messages, and some Ayurveda as well, holistic wellness. So let's get into it. I hope that you're doing well. I hope that things are moving okay for you right now. It's been a little, I don't know. It's been interesting lately, is what I'll say. There's been a lot of emotional energy. We're about to move into Pisces season. Even though we're in Aquarius season right now, where we can kind of navigate our obstacles via our intellect. Aquarius energy is air energy, so it governs how we think, how we communicate. And Aquarius is specifically related to our community, our friends, also our ideas and our ideals and our values in life, the way we want our life to be. It corresponds to the star in the tarot, which I love because the star is this message of healing. Even if you're not in the place that you want to be right in this moment of time, it means that you're on that path of healing. And healing is a journey in and of itself, not to be a cheeseball. I hate using that word or that language, whatever. But it's true, right? That's because it's not linear. It's not A plus B equals C. It often takes a lot of twists and turns, and we have to acclimate and reacclimate. And when we think we're getting in a good spot, something else pops up, etc. But I think it's part of the beauty of life. Not that you have to be 100% focused on your healing at all times. I think there's ways to add sacrament to your healing on a day-to-day basis, moment by moment basis, if you would even like. Ayurveda offers a lot of those tools, which is part of the reason I love it. Because it's something that you can incorporate into your daily practices, and it just helps enliven your well-being mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically even. A lot of times or Ayurveda looks at it as when disease ends up manifesting in the physical body, it's already been there for a hot minute, right? Whether it's our thought world or it's how we're treating ourselves spiritually or others or, whatever it may be. We all have our own things. So we're going to look at just the energy around that this morning. I hope that your heart is well today. There's been some tense aspects in the astrology. That's kind of where I was going with that point, that even though we have our intellect to kind of figure out what is happening or how we can navigate it, how we can best navigate it, it's hard to combat it against the emotions that have been going along with it. So we are up about to, what's today, the 15th? Okay, so we'll have a new moon in Aquarius in 2 days, and it's also the beginning of the eclipse season. So eclipses also herald change. Solar eclipse deals specifically with our external environment. So you might see some things shift around this week or within the next, few weeks, months, etc. that might be a little unexpected. I don't know. I think we kind of can feel some of the change that's happening. We can pinpoint where it's going to happen or where it's coming from, etc. But timing is definitely wonky or up in the air right now. Lord knows when things happen, but they will. All right, but I like to start off my readings with an energy cleansing just to set the tone, set the vibe for the reading, cleanse out those places you might feel blocked or limited. It's a really good time to set your own intention as well, especially if you've come in with something on your heart, on your mind, something you would like Spirit to deliver messages to you around, definitely give that over. Be open to receive. It really is a good way to personalize these collective readings. I also do personal readings. I offer a variety of healing wellness services. Readings are one of them. If you want me to look at your specific situation, how it's faring, where it's headed, or if you're interested in a realignment of self, your mind, body, soul, like we were just talking about. I do energy healing as well as Ayurvedic or holistic wellness consultations. When we're in alignment, that's where we really find our happiness, our fulfillment. It's actually beautiful, right? What wellness can do for us. And I would love to help support in whatever way possible, always. Definitely hit me up. All the info to get into contact with me is in the description box below. All right, let's get into it. I bless you with pure love and light, pure source energy, pure loving grace. I release anything that is not for your highest and best. Any fear, doubt, insecurities, lack of worth, lack of value, pain, anger, frustration, impatience, overwhelm. Cleanse it and release it from our being so that we may see and understand the messages clearly. Help to make me a clear and open channel for the collective. Thank you, Father God, Spirit guides, guardian angels, Mama Love. All right, so I'm hearing like continuing with this message of rest, of taking your time, moving slow where you're finding the opportunity to do so. I'm feeling like you're carrying a lot on your plate right now. And there might even be this energy of like, maybe you're even being successful at how you are managing things, but there's this underlying feeling of exhaustion. And that's really where we can kind of tune in and recognize that we might need to slow down, right? Take certain things off of our to-do list that don't really need to be done. The accomplishments, the stress, the burden. And really stress is like the biggest offender when it comes to our health and wellness. I love this. Have a cup of tea. Patience, reassessment. I think the reassessment is coming because we're having a lot of clarity on what reality is in the present moment in time. And always with the energy of new moons, it is an opportunity to start fresh, to go back to the drawing board, really figure out what's working, what's not, what's helping, what's not, etc. And then making adjustments accordingly. And yes, depending on what sign the new moon is in, you can put your thought energy towards specific areas of your life. Aquarian energy is what I talked about earlier, right? Like what your wish fulfillments are. What do you want your life to look like? What do you want your health and well-being to look like? And then saying, okay, well, what are the things that I might be doing present day that are disconnected from my goal? Ayurveda is huge into eliminating the causative factor or causative factors. The things that challenge our power, our courage, our strength. I think you've had a lot lately. I think that you are overcoming some things that feel pretty big on some level. I know that sounds vague, whether this is within yourself, like whether it's affected your health and well-being, or it's just kind of put you into a different phase of your wellness where you do have to show up a little bit differently for yourself. But this is reminding you that it took courage to get here. Like you really did have to tap into those inner resources. You had to tap into the things that weren't easy choices to make, right? Tapping into your inner power. And I think even just like trusting yourself in the process. I'm really just drawn, I really love how it's depicted on this card with the acorn and the tree growing out of it. And just how much time and intention that takes. It's a consistent strength. It's a consistent empowerment pushing forward. And that's probably why I was picking up that underlying level of exhaustion. Venus moves into, well, it's already in Pisces. Excuse me. Let me look at this chart real quick. But we're getting some softening of the energy with Venus, or that's helping to soften in certain areas. It might, like, I think what is hard is like where our resistance is showing up. Things that are hard to let go of. Things that are hard to retrain your mind around is what I'm hearing. You've done a lot of growing. You've done a lot of pushing forward. And now it's time to build that safety, the hearth, safety, comfortability. I'm hearing it as spiritual connection. This is like setting down your roots is what I'm hearing, right? So, yes, it is about setting yourself up for success. I think you already know. I think you already have the tools in play. I'm hearing there might be some challenges in trusting yourself right now because of what you've gone through, because of the amount of, like, sometimes when we're in this vibe of like overcoming some really big obstacles, we have to put on a brave face, right? Like, you just got to handle it. You know, you can't, if you have certain things to support, sustain in your life, you can't necessarily drop the ball is what I'm getting at. And it can be easy to keep that brave face on, even when we are struggling a little bit, whatever that may look like. But I think that what I'm seeing for you is there is more safety right now to relax, not only relax, but like release. Like, you don't have to be so tense. You don't have to be so wound up or so hypercritical of yourself, or, you know, like scrutinizing every nook and cranny, because you already know. And so I'm hearing this as this is about trusting yourself, right? Allowing yourself to trust yourself. And part of how you're going to do that is through the stability that you're building. And this is love of self, right? We have willpower. We have willpower to overcome, but that only goes so far. In fact, I think there might be like an area, like they call it, like it's like a bank, residual in our brain. Sorry, I'm not communicating clearly right now because I'm trying to remember specifically, but a reservoir essentially, where it's like we only have so much of that, and then once it's expended, like our body's exhausted, or that like neurotransmitter is depleted, whatever that looks like. Don't hold me too much to it. Some of that stuff, I'm not in neuroscience. I don't, you know, my knowledge is subpar, but a little bit. I like it though, that fact, that value that we can like rewrite our brain. And again, investing in that comfortability, recognizing the, you know, being in alignment with the phases and cycles. It's going to help your intuition a lot. I'm hearing like it's really hard for you lately to vacillate between, maybe it's extremes, or maybe this is just like the different experiences, the highs, the lows, the good days, the not so good days. It can be hard to not get a grip on those, but like I'm hearing like, especially if you are hypercritical or putting yourself down a lot, or doing something like to yourself that's directly inhibiting your health, your well-being, those are the places that we need more love, right? Those are the places that we actually need to look at. And when we do, as emotional as that may be, as emotional as it may be, this too shall pass. Everything works in phases and cycles. Getting out of the old, getting out of the past, being too stuck in the ground. I like that it's an earthworm that's in our blocked energy for the week. And the symbolism is clarity and rumination. So places that we're getting stuck. And even to the point, like sometimes we can feel like a certain level, of like anxiety or whatever is helping us figure out what happened or process it, and that is great, well and good, but eventually we have to kind of pick ourselves up and move forward. And the places that we are getting stuck this week, I needed a little sip. Or maybe not even just this week. I feel like this is maybe places that you've kind of like learned to keep yourself stuck and limited, to keep yourself in that stress, in that anxiety, trying to figure out the whys. And, Ayurveda looks at it as it's good to have knowledge, right? But at some point you got to go out there and you have to have the experience, and you have to let the experience happen without trying to control or dictate what that experience is. But when we're in that, when it comes to our health, the Western world looks at health very differently. It's a lot about working out, counting calories. Which exercise is good. Eating healthy is good, but it's not as much about restriction and limitation as it is about learning to tune in to what your body's telling you, your wants and your needs. And I'm not talking about cravings, because in Ayurveda, cravings are looked at as, that's like, if you're craving something unhealthy, that's your toxicity talking, essentially. And that metaphor can be used for anywhere in our life, right? Like if we're having certain cravings, especially when we're dealing with our health and wellness, we got to find something to replace that so we can turn the energy in a different way, so we can help our brain relearn ways to engage with ourselves in a healthful way. It's hard to do that. We get 5 of Earth, 5 of Pentacles, slippery elm. Something outside of you not feeling like you're giving the attention. Or again, this can even be the places where you're like limiting certain things that are toxic for your body, and you're choosing to kind of rework that for yourself. It could even be as simple as like craving those things, right? Like just as I was talking about, your body wanting to go back to certain behaviors, certain things, certain people, certain situations, because it feels like they're calling to you on some level. But you're the emperor this week, so you're being very focused on what you got to do. The emperor is all about, he can be rigid, but it's just like any time we have to do something for ourselves or in our life, we have to be really disciplined and focused and motivated. I'm not saying that has to be life 100% of the time. I don't want to say it's like about being a robot, because I don't think that's true either. In my opinion, we set up a good framework so that we can enjoy the freedom when it's available, right? But if we have a wobbly framework, it gets really hard to rebalance when we give ourselves more luxury, more abundance, whatever that looks like for you, food, whatever, right? That can manifest in a lot of different ways. But you're holding to your guns this week. You're really choosing to honor yourself. I think someone's having a hard time with that. Because in your environment, in their blocked energy, we have the Queen of Wands, the Madra of Fire in this deck. Maybe someone's not feeling like you're giving them enough time, energy, not communicating. Someone's ruminating a little bit. Interesting. Oh, it's catnip. Sorry. I just saw that cat in the grass and I was like, what is going on with this card? Sorry. But maybe that's like how someone feels about you. Like usually if they do X, Y, and Z, you'll kind of, you know, bite. You'll see what they want. You'll connect, whatever. But it does look like, I don't know if this is just like you not communicating with people or just really focusing on yourself. Like, you know, it kind of tags back to this strength that you've built. And I'm hearing you've done a really good job. And I think you need to have the confidence of that you are kind of where you want to be to some capacity. Again, it might not all look like it in this moment in time, but it's like the tools, the pieces that you need to keep yourself up and running are in place. And now it's just the cementing. Now it's just getting into the groove of having that be. And that's exactly what you look like you're doing. But again, like, I don't know, people feel like you're hiding yourself or you're not as available or like, it's funny because there is like this offense that you're getting healthy almost is what I'm hearing. And not, I think it's, again, it's more this Five of Pentacles energy of something feeling left out, feeling like they're not allowed, you know, maybe not allowed back in or whatever. And we're in a time where we have to make a lot of hard decisions around what we do want our life to look like, especially if there are dynamics that are unhealthy, are toxic, that directly affect our mental, emotional well-being. And it looks like whatever you're dealing with anyway is like, it doesn't feel helpful for you. There's a reason why you're showing up in this Emperor energy of like, this is what I got to do. This is what I got to focus on. This is where I'm at. And maybe this is someone who wants to keep you stuck in this ruminating, or, you know, they're popping up, wanting your attention, blah, blah, blah. And it draws you back in. And again, not to blame, because ultimately at the end of the day, we have control over where we put our time and energy, who we give that to, who and what we give that to is what I should say. Yes, it looks like there's repercussions for choices that you're making with this individual and or situation. This can be anything. The Mother of Fire, she's, you know, it's someone that you want to be around. It's someone that you're interested in. It's someone that like maybe even is used to having people come to them, is what I'm hearing. So they're not really used to your energy. They're not used to you pulling back, feeling like you owe them something to some capacity. But it looks like when conversations keep coming up, you're still holding fast to your truth. And maybe in a little bit of a stoic way. Like maybe this is very masculine, you know, and I'm not talking about gender. I'm talking about energy. Specifically, you know, it's kind of like the cold, hard truth is what I'm hearing, the harsh reality of things. And the Queen of Wands doesn't necessarily want the cold, hard truth, right? She likes it to look nice and shiny and bright and the positive things out of the bunch, where neither the Emperor nor the King of Swords feel the need to deliver anything else but the reality, right? The cold hard truth. So I don't know. I think that for you, it's a way to protect yourself, a way to hey, how's it going? So good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for showing up. I appreciate you. Sorry, I'm a little nerd, but it's nice to see a friend. What I'm seeing is like you're really like working to protect yourself this week, right? Like, and in a good way. I think this is good for you. And I think that, again, this has come off this place of like, because of what you have had to do, because of what has brought you to this place, you've kind of had to be a little bit more rigid. And yes, I think this is coming through more with your external environment, i.e., who and what you're engaging in and with. But you can take your time in the process of how you are handling these dynamics, because it does look like someone or something does not want to go away. And if this is just something within you, if this isn't like in your environment per se, or like dealing with a person or situation, then it's like where, you know, that craving keeps coming up, right? You're trying to cut out sugar to whatever capacity, and you keep having the cravings, or, you know, and you feel like you want to give in. And it's like you're controlling yourself. I definitely see that 100%. However, that energy manifests. If it's a person, it's someone who's very persistent, or like isn't really getting it. I want to say isn't like getting the reality, isn't understanding. And so they keep kind of pushing and pushing and pushing. And that's where I think it is a fine balance for you, because when people or situations push us, or we push ourselves, we put a lot of stress on ourselves, we feel a lot of pressure, etc. It's, well, in Ayurveda, it actually constricts, it restricts the flow. And we need that flow. We need prana in order to honor every aspect of our being. And there is some, in the astrology, there's a lot of combative energies. Like change is lurking. It's like bubbling underneath the surface, but some things haven't happened. Some of the change, it's like long-winded change, right? It's taking a long time. And when Uranus went direct, beginning of the month, it started opening up those channels, that fluidity, that flow that I was talking about, because it was in retrograde since September. And so now we're feeling stronger, or a little bit more able is a better way to say it, sorry, to actually invest or commit or say no or draw harsher boundaries. Or say it like it is, right? Like there's this energy coming up where we really want to commit to the inspiration is maybe a good way to say it. Because with a lot of change, so much has been reshuffled, and it's acclimating, it's reacclimating, but that goes back to our original overarching energy, building that foundation, really investing in the way that you are supporting and nurturing yourself, that you're building your comfort and your stability. And maybe this is even like integrating a spiritual practice for yourself, lighting a candle in the morning, saying a prayer, doing a meditation, morning, evening time, whatever, or setting aside 15 minutes, right, to kind of just honor the sacrament of the world. Aw. Thank you. I appreciate you so much. I hope you have a fabulous day. I appreciate you. I love this. See, that's the thing. It's kind of like, where does your hard work get you? It brings you to the world. And the world is a culmination. It is about a cycle ending, but it's also about abundance. Like I look at the world as everything being in its right place. And that does take energy, discipline, diligence. And like I was saying at the very beginning, you have all those tools into play. But yes, there are these lingering things. There are emotions. There are past situations that are kind of keeping us stuck in those energies. We're still working through some of that stuff. And that goes back to what I was just saying about some of the change being very long-winded. And some of it is slow, but you know, the thing about, like, I've been really reminded of this myself in my own life. The beauty of change that takes time is it's long-lasting change. When we do all these immediate things, it actually becomes really counterintuitive to what we're trying to sustain. And I'm seeing that, like, you have something very beautiful built. I think this is something that's really going to take you far. Or get you back to where you want to be. Get your body, your mind, your soul, your physiology back into that state of balance and well-being. And it's coming. Like, I love the energy. Even though it's slow, there's a lot of progress. And it's hopeful progress. Yes, there are still some things we need to shed from the old. Clarity, I feel like this message has been coming up a lot for us lately. The value clarity brings, and actually Ayurveda, when we're talking about our mental, emotional well-being, one of the first components to that health is being honest with ourselves, right? Having that clarity, having maybe awareness, but just being, I think honesty with self brings a lot of clarity. And sometimes it does take a minute. Sometimes we have to talk through it with ourselves so that we can understand why. And that might be where some of the anxiety is lingering, or being too hard on yourself, not giving yourself enough love, enough grace. Yeah, nurture. I love this. It's okay to want to stay home and be alone. I deserve days to myself, days to relax and simply be. I honor how I feel and take this day to do the things that feel nurturing to me. So if you can find some time this week to just veg out, let yourself do whatever you want to do. It doesn't have to be anything like healthy or spiritual. You don't have to do that all the time, right? I like that stuff. But it's like, you know, stuff that just like allows you to relax, rejuvenate, read a book, journal, take a walk. It's been gorgeous lately. It feels like a heat wave where I'm at, but it's been sunny. It's been so beautiful outside, like the fresh air. It just feels so good after a long, cold winter, right? And it's, you know, and that's part of this energy bubbling underneath the surface that I was talking about earlier. Spring is upon us. I know that's dependent on where you are in the world, but season of change is maybe a better way to say it. Being more present. I love that. And the present moment is so powerful. It's actually where we find fulfillment, bliss, happiness, like just pure joy, abundance, like just all the good things, you know? And it's when you can just be so in what you're doing that it, like, appreciation, love, that's what I'm hearing. It was in our, excuse me, in the abundance and prosperity reading, which I'll upload after this reading. But those, I mean, it's just it's a beauty. I think that is the authenticity of what fulfillment actually means in this life. Yes, the superficial things are really nice. I love luxury. I love abundance 100%. But what is actually filling to the soul is these moments of presence, of appreciation, of love. In this moment, in this present moment, I have nothing to worry about. That's also a great thing about being present. It takes away the worry and anxiety. I take life step by step as I follow my desires and intuition, joyfully overcoming any bumps along the way. When I live like this, I don't have to worry about the future 100%. And that actually is considered living in the support of the universe. The universe supports us always. will spontaneously fulfill our desires. But it does mean that we have to get out of the fear, the worry, the anxiety, the anger, the hatred, whatever, the overwhelm, because it doesn't really serve us, right? Releasing anger. I love that. Anger is a natural emotion, but I recognize that holding onto it can be toxic for me. I look at the person who has caused me pain and see them as the human being they are. I release the anger. I feel free and free myself. Freeing myself and expanding to love. So beautiful. I love that. Such a powerful way to end our reading, especially with whatever the situation is that you're dealing with over here. Releasing the anger, releasing the resentment. We're able to do that when we're present as well, or through the practice of meditation. I love transcendental meditation. It's been a huge game changer for me. It's because you don't have to do anything, and you're just meditating with the mantra, and the physiology, the mind, the body, the soul, they spontaneously realign. And then when you're actually in situations where you might get triggered or whatever, it's way easier to navigate through. And that's the value of what you're building, right? Like, you're building something that is really beautiful, that is really powerful, that is really tuned in, dialed into your wants and needs and the type of world you want to live in. And I think having that validation for yourself this week is incredibly important. Trust yourself, trust the process, stick to your guns. It looks like you're doing that anyway. You don't have to be mean about it. Not that I would think that you would, just try to cover all my bases, of course. And I hope it goes well. I'm excited to hear. Definitely drop comments below. I hope you had found messages that resonated here for you. I'm really interested on this reading. If you guys want a Saturday or a Sunday, doesn't matter to you. I'm going to do the weekly on Monday evenings. I'm going to do a midweek check-in. But if you, maybe Saturday, I don't know, whatever, drop comments below. I might post a poll. I've never done it before, but I might try today. And I would love to hear your thoughts, what you prefer, even morning, afternoon. I'm kind of flexible, so I would love to just honor you as much as you have honored me. Thank you so much for your time, energy, always. I hope you enjoyed the reading, and I will look forward to seeing you tomorrow night. Have a beautiful day. Sending love, blessings to your health, to your well-being. I will talk to you tomorrow.